Hello, welcome to this quick demonstration. As you can see, we're going to begin on a parent login page. So just to explain how this works, before parents are able to make bookings, they need to pass through this login page and verify themselves. The most common way this is done is by parents typing in their email address, which sends them a magic link. So they go to their inbox and they click the magic link in the email we've sent them, and that logs them straight in. So no need for a username, no need for a password. But there's also single sign-on options. These change depending on the school. There's 4 showing on this school here, as you can see, but there are other single sign-on options that may be made available to parents by the school. So you can click on one of these, and this would log you straight in as well, using one of these accounts to verify. And once I've logged in, as you can see, this parent has a number of things they can book. So we've got parents' evenings set up at the top, and some events and some clubs as well. Now, the purpose of this, of course, is that Parents Booking acts as the place that the parent books all these things online. And you're only showing the things that apply to you as a parent. So depending on which year groups your children are in and what's been set up at the school and which year groups those are for, only the correct things will be shown to you here. Now, being that Parents Booking's core function is in Parents Evening scheduling, we'll start there. There's a Parents Evening being set up in June, and as you can see, there are different ways that I can book it. So there's a suggest bookings from me, which is like a wizard, and there's a way to book appointments one by one. Once you've booked them, you can also see your schedule and share your meetings with others, especially if they're video meetings. So we'll talk about that later. But let's begin by making some appointments. So we're going to click on suggest bookings for me. And as you can see, it's showing me my child, and in this case, actually my children and their teachers. So for Callum, I'm going to click the teachers who I would like to book. So I'll pick these 6. And because this is a parents' evening where both my children are in it, I can select another child, so in this case Tasha, and I can click some teachers for her as well. Okay. Once you've done that, at the bottom of the page, you're asked when you would like to attend. So it won't book you appointments at times that you aren't available at. And what you can see is this is actually what we call a hybrid parents' evening. So there are video meetings during this time, and there are in-person meetings during these later times. And this is actually on a different day, I should say. So if there's one day or a certain type of meeting that I don't want, I would just turn that off. I'm going to book video meetings here, and I'm going to say that I'm not free until after 3 o'clock. Now, every parents' evening is different. Schools can set them up to be all entirely in-person meetings, all entirely video meetings, or a mix of both, and you would normally build that in different sessions like I have here. It can be on the same day, it can be on different days, but what we find is that schools who are trying to achieve their highest attendance, they'll be able to do that with a hybrid approach because parents who want to come in person can, and parents who can't come in person will be able to join online. You can share your meetings with other parents. So, for example, if I am going to be in a different location from another family member, whether we're separated or together, they can join my meetings by tick this box. And even if I forget to tick this box later, you can share your confirmation email or a shareable link with that parent, and that will let them join as well. So now I'm simply pressing the book my appointments button, and it's calculating me the best schedule, as you can see. And I can tell teachers about any issues or discussion topics. So if I click on add comment and type in behaviour, this teacher then knows that's something that I want to talk to them about on the night. I'll confirm these appointments. I had 5 minutes to do that just before they were released to the public again. And now that my appointments have been made, I can add them to my calendar. One feature this school has turned on, this isn't on by default, but it's something this school has turned on, is the ability for me to request a translator. So sometimes it's something the schools will organise for parents. And then, of course, typically you'd maybe want a confirmation as well, so you can print and email that. In terms of what that confirmation looks like, if we go back to our dashboard on view my appointment schedule, you can see here a sort of typical confirmation. There's a sort of graphical map here because it might be that you have the rooms showing as well, and then parents will understand what room to go to. But in this case, actually, these are all video meetings, as you can see, so that's less relevant. As we explained before, you can create a shareable link. So if I click on this, you can see a link here that I can copy and I can WhatsApp, email, SMS to someone else, and that would let them join my meetings. They don't even have to have a parents booking login. If they have that link, that will let them join your video meetings. Now, before we go on, let's look at how a video meeting takes place. Click on this blue join video appointment button, and we'll do that right now. So once you've clicked the blue join button, the first thing you'll be asked to do is give confirmation that you're happy for your microphone to be used, and actually you can test your levels and change your input as well to make sure that you choose the right one. And once you've done that, you also can check you're framed up nicely in your webcam. And again, you can choose the input. So if you're on a smartphone or a tablet, you might have different cameras you can choose from. So as you can see, once you've approved those, the video meeting starts automatically, and you'll see there's a countdown timer running in the top right corner now. I'll just say hello to some colleagues who I'm joined by. So 2 teachers from this school. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hi, good to see you both. Thank you for helping me demonstrate this. So I just want to say that as well as the countdown timer running automatically, at the bottom of the page you have your schedule. So it shows you which call you're on. In this demonstration, we've had a couple of meetings back to back, but what you can also see are controls that let you turn off your microphone. So you can do that easily, and also your webcam. So if you want to hide that, you can do. There's a button to blur your background. So you can see in my preview window that my background has been blurred now. And also there's a button to share your screen. So you can share that or windows or tabs from your browser. Also, there's a red button to hang up on a meeting. So if you wanted to, because you've maybe had your conversation, you can press that, either the parent or the teacher, and then the meeting will end early. And just the same as with this meeting running out of time, there may be a gap between this meeting ending and the next starting, because that's something that administrators can employ, but otherwise your next meeting just starts automatically. So whether you hang up or whether it runs out of time, that's how this all works. It's totally automatic. Thank you both very much for helping me demonstrate this, and have a nice day. As well as being able to run parents' evening booking, parents' booking also helps schools organise bookings for events, clubs, trips, wraparounds and such. So as you can see here, there are some events and some clubs set up. I'm going to go to one of my events. So this is an Aladdin show that's on 2 dates, as you can see. And the idea here is that parents are able to either book or pay for places. Now, in this case, I've not set this one up to take a payment online, but you certainly can. Parents booking will integrate with your preferred payment provider. But in this case, there are 170 places on 2 different dates, and it's limiting me to 2 bookings per family. So I'm going to book 2 for this second date, and that's how this works. So it hasn't asked me for a payment, it's just asking me to reserve some places. There are now less places available, and I have my confirmation. And the school knows from their admin area who's coming, so they'll expect me, but I have confirmation and tickets I can show. Just going back, we have something very similar when it comes to clubs. So if I was to go down to this football club, for example, this is something that I could sign one or both of my children up to. Again, there's a cost. Again, I haven't set this one up to take a payment today, but if I sign up one of my children, you can see they now have a place. So that's a very simple type of club. In this case, this is weekly, so maybe termly the school will set up clubs, and you can just sign your children up. There can be limits to how many can be signed up per term, and we can set up rules so that you can't accidentally create clashes. The other type of club that we have here is a complex club called a wraparound care type club. And in this case, and I have an example here in this breakfast club, you'll notice that we have calendar interface, and that's because we expect the attendance to be different each day. So as you can see, I have some bookings from the past on the right hand side, and I'm just going to add to those. So if I select some dates in the future, so we'll click on the 18th and the 19th. As you can see, I can now select the student that I want to book on each day. This is adding up and adding to my total how much it's going to cost. And when I press update booking, it will confirm those bookings for me. As you can see, these now show green and booked, and my total has been increased. And if I had to pay for these online, it would have made me pay for the difference between what I'd paid for last time and what I was adding to my booking. Now we'll switch over and look at the admin area. Now, having shown you the parents area, what we can do is look at how these things are all set up. So there's an administration area and a teacher area too. Very easy to access. Also, teachers and admins can have a username and a password. There are also great single sign-on options, so you can log in with the likes of Google and My Login. Once you've logged in, as I have done as an administrator here, you're able to see an overview of all the things the school has set up. So on my dashboard, I have parents' evenings, breakfast clubs, the trips, the clubs, and it shows their progress in terms of how many either spaces have been taken or parents have booked. And from the options button here, we can see shortcuts to some of the main tasks that we need. So for example, inviting parents, printing schedules, adding breaks, things like that. To give you a quick overview of how this all works, there's an upload data page that you use, and this syncs to your school's database. So there are ways to upload data by spreadsheet, which is quite old-fashioned now, but generally what you'll do is you'll set up an automatic data sync. So if I click this button, you'll see that it's asking me to input some information. Basically, once permission has been provided, once you've set this up, so you have to request permission to import the specific fields that parents booking needs. Once that's done, there's a data sync working in the background. So as new students start and as students leave and as classes change, these things are all being fed into parents booking, with the idea being that you can simply go to the evenings page and create a parents evening and set that up in seconds. So let's do that. We'll create a parents evening here. And we'll choose a date. So we'll make it later in June, and we choose a start and an end time. So I'm going to have this starting maybe at 5 o'clock and finishing something like 8 o'clock. I'm going to make my appointments 5 minutes long, and I'm going to have a 1 minute gap between them because I'm going to make this a video parents evening. Okay, you can see here how you can set them up as in-person or hybrid though, and when you choose hybrid, you would choose which sessions are for what type of meetings. You have to choose when the bookings open, so I will have it open later on today. Let's make it something like 2 o'clock, and then the deadline, which will make the day before. So the 25th is when I'm having it. I'll maybe make it at 9 a.m. the day before, something like that. Once you've popped in the dates and times, there are some settings you can choose from, so you can limit parents in terms of whether they can make bookings back to back, whether there's a limit for how many bookings they can make in general, whether only one parent per family can book, things like that. And then you choose either the year group or the reg class. So I'm going to say this is for S5 and S6. Those are two of the higher levels at Scottish schools, and I'm going to press save. And what this will do now is it will show me all the teachers that have been imported from the school's database for each class, and it's just up to me to decide which of those are available for parents to book. So, for example, if I knew that a particular English teacher wasn't going to be available, I can untick them and they won't be made available for parents to book. But also, where there are classes that are shared, you can choose whether you want to show one or both. And if you leave both as booking options, there are then options to either have parents book them both together at the same time. So I can link their bookings. If I book Miss Kim Graham at 5, it'll book Mr. James Watling at 5 also. So for video meetings, all the teachers and parents are in one joint meeting, which is great. Or, for example, down here with science, I can change it so that if I change it to yes, Mr. Hall and Miss Hall and Mr. Forwood are both able to be booked by the parents separately. Or if I leave it on no and no, this basically means the parents have to book one or the other. So all the different rules you need, it's all captured here. It might not be that you know exactly which of these teachers is the one that's the teacher that should be available for meetings. So there is a way to export this. You can download a spreadsheet of this, send it out to teachers to just check. And once you've collated changes, it's very easy to come back and make them. Okay, so you can just turn off things that aren't needed, for example. There's more you can do. You can change the length of times for teachers, and you can also see how much availability each teacher has. You can block out teacher times, you can extend teachers. There's so much you can do here. I'm just giving you a very quick overview. But once this has been set up and you're happy with it, you are ready to send out your invite. So if I go back to my evenings page, you can see here my example parents evening, and I would simply go to send invite to parents, and then I can send the parents this invite here, which as you can see, sends them to a particular website address, and actually it's going to mail merge in some of the login details depending on the settings I have for my login page. So this is going to tell the parent the exact spelling for the student's name, just in case they spell it differently. Do we have it in our database, or Ben versus Benjamin, things like that, to make the login really simple. As you can see, my parents are listed here. None of them have been invited yet, and I would just press one of these buttons to send them their invite. Once they've received that, they'll be able to log in like we showed at the start of this demo. Now, going back to my dashboard, once your parents' evening's been set up, once they started taking bookings, you can make appointments for parents using the Manage Bookings tab. And you can also print and email schedules later. So on the day of the parents' evening, for example, we'll send you a reminder to do this, but you can come in and you can click on print, email, and view teacher schedules. This will show you all of your teachers, and it'll show you buttons that let you print or email parents and teachers their schedules. So we'll just have a quick look at Selena Andrews, a drama teacher, to see what her schedule looks like. So you can see the times that she's been booked so far. And in this case, she's got 69 slots left with 8 students still to book her. If you or she are interested in who's not booked, you can see that very simply here. And as I mentioned before, you can add breaks singularly to teachers like we're doing here or in bulk later. There's also ways to see in a graphical sort of demonstration, pie charts and such, teachers' availability, how much time they've got, things like that. During the parents' evening, if they're video meetings, we'll take the attendance automatically. If it's not a video parents' evening, then you'll need to put the attendance in yourself. So there's an attendance manager, and you can give access to that to either students or teachers to take on the door. Teachers can take it themselves manually as well. And this is all important because if we come into this reports tab and click on a parents' evening, you'll be able to see here that we're going to show you statistics, both in terms of the booking numbers and the attendance. So this parents' evening hasn't happened yet, which is why the attendance is very red, but once the attendance has been input, you'll be able to see in richer detail who attended and who didn't. And also, when we send the invite to parents, they can RSVP no and explain why they're not coming. So you can see qualitative feedback on why people didn't come. Now, as well as all these stats showing, the number and percent of bookings that have been booked and are available, we also do have really nice things like, for example, this distribution analysis of appointment times. So you can hover on times and see the frequency they were booked, and this is showing me that times that were later in the parents' evening just weren't as popular. So that, coupled with some of the qualitative feedback from the RSVPs, might indicate that actually we're hosting this parents' evening at a time that isn't that convenient. And maybe if we change the times a little, we would get an even higher attendance. So really trying to help you achieve the highest attendance with great communication tools to invite and remind parents, but also afterwards to analyse the appointments and the success of them. Also in reports, you can download lists of everything really. So at the moment, it's all about bookings, but after the parents' evening, we can get attendance information as well. Who attended, who missed some meetings, who missed all their meetings. You can even understand things like with a video meeting, whether some meetings didn't connect and why. So lots of information here in the report section too. Lastly, if we just look at a teacher section, if I go to the teachers page, this is going to list all my teachers, and there's actually a way that I can log in as a teacher. So I, an admin, could pretend to be a teacher temporarily. So this is Selena Andrews. We'll log in as her, and this is what she logs in, except for the red banner, which is telling me that this is me pretending to be her. She wouldn't see that, of course. But these are her parents' evenings, and you can simply click on one to see your bookings. But teachers can also create their own mini one-to-one parents' evenings. So, for example, if there was 5 parents I didn't get to see and I really wanted to, whether they, indicated on the waiting list that they wanted to see me and I was fully booked, or whether I just wanted to see them, I can create a one-to-one meeting at times and invite those parents to book me, and those can be in-person or video meetings as well. So the teachers can create their own mini evenings to help with that too. Now, going back to the admin area, the thing I haven't shown you, and the last thing I'll finish with, is the ability for admins and teachers to make appointments or bookings for parents' evenings, events, clubs, etc. So if I click on this parents' evening, it's going to show you a timetable. And if I click on a class like maths, as you can see, it's showing me this teacher's availability, Mr. James Watling's availability. So I have some bookings, Nathan Allen, I have some appointments blocked out as well. But if I click on the 2 o'clock, and then as you can see, I can search for a student I want to make a booking for, or the parent's name as well. Here, I can also search by the reg class, class code, year group, things like that. So if I click on S6 and then choose a student like Oliver, you can see there's 2 parent options here. That's because whichever we pick is going to be the parent that gets the confirmation. And in case these parents are separated, we're going to be specific about which we book and which we send the confirmation to. And so now Oliver has an appointment at 2 o'clock. So very easy to make. And also, if you tick, you can cancel appointments. And if you cancel them, you can explain why. So if a teacher's called in sick, for example, you can tell the parents. As well as that, you can also share bookings between teachers and transfer them to teachers. So share will put 2 teachers in the same meeting. Transfer will move it to someone else. Again, if someone was sick, for example. So there's lots of control here in Manage Bookings, and that brings my demo to a close. I hope you found this helpful. Do reach out, and if you visit www.parents-booking.com, you'll find even more information on us. Thanks.